Warning, this video contains rumors, speculation, strong opinions, and
welcome to the first review of Weekend Warrior Reviews. What's Weekend Warriors? What's our angle? There's so many reviews here on YouTube. How are we going to differentiate ourselves from the rest? Well, a lot of those guys get paid to do it, or they look for the access to do it. We're hardworking weekend warriors that go for our paycheck. On the weekend, we spend our hard-earned cash, and we want to see. We may not complete the game. We might not get every single secret, but this is a review for you, the working man, and a warrior on the weekend that wants to have some fun. Now, me personally, I am a casual wrestling fan. I appreciate the art. I think it's entertainment, and I think anyone that's like, "Oh, wrestling's fake," and mocks it, you're full of shit. Look at entertainment. They are the hardest working people in entertainment. And this is why they are a go-to pool for the other type of content I have on our channel here, is movies. This is they are hardworking. They're going to get the job done, and they provide the fun. I haven't watched wrestling in years, but I'm kind of like, I might want to catch something. I don't know. But let's talk about the game. It's getting bashed on by hardcore. What do we say? What did they do to our wrestling game? What did they do to our wrestling game? They made it accessible and fun. And I'll tell you what, and I'm surprised to say this because at the beginning, me and Brian got it at the same time. We played all weekend. Now, I don't know if Brian will join me on other reviews. If we have the game, we will try to collab again to give you two perspectives, two scores, and two recommendations. At the beginning, I was a little unsure. I was like, is this too arcadey? They're sharing a lot of the same animations. Is the combat too shallow because there's not as in-depth like grappling as much as other games? And they do share some moves. But I'll tell you what, with the combination of everything else going on, the power-ups, the pickups that you could get.
Well, the environment. I mean, there's so many things around you that you can interact with. I mean, aside from just pulling the chair out and whacking the guy, I mean, there's things that are out in the crowd roaming around and stuff like that. That's really cool.
That's another thing that takes us to another level is the arenas. Each arena so far has a hidden element that you have to go to. One is in Florida, you could throw out an opponent into a gator. And you can't do that in a realistic sim, and you know what? You shouldn't, but you should here.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. There's another one in Mexico where you're fighting outside, and you get a remote controlled ram with a lucha libre mask. There's another arena where you are at an army base. There's tanks and stuff. You're supporting the troops by providing entertainment, and then in the middle of the match, you could go outside the ring and jump on a helicopter. The helicopter will go up, and you could do a power dive from the greatest heights. I'm not going to spoil everything. Also, if you go hardcore enough and you smash the hell out of that ring, the ring can collapse, and then you can take the pole and bash them with it.
Yeah.
Now, the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is what I like to do on our Weekend Warrior reviews here. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is, I'd say, the fun. It's absolute fun, the accessibility, and listen, I know you W2K fans out there want your sim back. You want a next-gen experience. I'll tell you what, I've been following the drama with the development. 2K20 was horrendous with bugs. Are there bugs and glitches in here? Yes. Are they game-breaking? I had a few the first day. I think it's ironed out, even though there's not a patch yet.
Yeah.
I haven't had any, and I paid a lot today. The first day, I was having some glitches. It froze a few times. Today, I had no problems at all. And I went through a lot of the modes. There's so many modes here. There's a create a character mode. I will say that goes into the bad section. Not ugly, bad. It could be better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this is a $40 price point, and this is somewhere they can approve. I do wish there was a few more grappling moves, but there is depth though. When you combine the power-ups, the arena exclusive hazards like danger zones, like the goat, the gator, and then let me see the power-ups, and then the other thing that you can add before you start with the direction pad. You have special abilities. Now, is it weird to see a wrestler freeze someone else or set the ground on fire and turn to molten lava? Yes. But is it fun as hell? Yes. This is in the vein of Smash Brothers. Yeah. And it's in the vein of Power Stone if you want to go real old school. And I say, get this now. It has legs. I want to keep playing it. I didn't want to stop for the review.
Yeah, it's getting fun.
Also, I would say one downside to bad so far is there is online. It has couch co-op, which is great for this type of game. The online works.
But it's limited.
It's limited. It's a little kind of wonky. It works. But as far as we can tell so far as of recording, and we're just weekend warriors, we're hard-working working man to support this show, support these type of reviews by smashing the hell out of it, just like we're playing Battlegrounds. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that part. The create a wrestler, there's a lot of room for improvement. Oh, that's what I was saying. I'm not sure if you can get people online to join in on the Battle Royale parts or the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble is also only 4 at a time, and they have a Battle Royale mode that's online, but you only have 4 in the ring. The 4 outside the ring can keep playing and bashing each other. I don't know if you can do all the moves outside the ring until it's your turn to magically. Now that might be a minus for some people, that even though they want an arcade experience, the entrances and just appearing in the ring. But if you want to talk about fast gameplay, arcade accessibility, and get to the point, let's be honest, it's great for a sim to have those scenes in a wrestling game. But if you want to get to the point constantly, you don't want to wait around for everyone's entrances.
Yeah, you find yourself hitting the start button just to get through the entrances to sim them out, because they take forever in a day.
Now, I don't think there's anything ugly first. The first day, I would have said the ugly is the moveset. I thought there wasn't, but there's some subtlety in stuff that I didn't get the first day. There is depth. Did you find that as well? Maybe at first you thought it was a little shallow.
Yeah, because there's different classes for wrestlers. So I mean, those classes have different movesets to them. So once you get to know that, but it's kind of limited. Just like as far as the creative character, where you can only choose so many different outfits, so many different looks, and stuff like that. There is DLC that you can buy right now, but being the limited weekend warrior on funds anyways, it'd be nice if you can actually unlock a couple of those outfits. Haven't gotten that far yet.
Yes, you can. I have good news for you weekend warriors out there. Yes, there is DLC. This is the perfect way to do it. They kind of follow them. There's another game that I liked last year, was Crash Team Racing, where they had stuff you could buy, things to make the unlocks faster. This is something else I love about old school gaming, is unlocking shit. And oh my goodness, there's so much to unlock in career mode. Also, something that mirrors career mode, you could create your character and do stuff like that on a separate mode. And there's even something I haven't looked into, that is create your own arena. The one thing I have fear is that they are going to create. The other thing that I cannot comment on launch, but if they deliver on every single character promise as post-launch DLC, They have about 70 now, and there's about 60 more to come. So I cannot give the score based on the stuff that's not here yet.
Yeah.
I would say even with the glitchiness in some stuff that's maybe lower on the lower on the presentation part of a normal wrestling game.
Yeah.
I would say I don't know. I'm gonna give it a score already. I would say 8 out of 10. If we get all those characters, 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
And if they were to iron out all the glitches, do a little bit more presentation, I would even give it a 10 out of 10. But you can't because there's some glitches, there's some problems. But the price point, oh my God, get this! It's gonna be a cult classic, I think.
Yeah.
I also thought. Now, what's your score before we get to how we rank it with the rest of the
I'm going to kind of agree with you. I was going to say 7 out of 10 with room to improve. Mm-hmm. It's got, like I said, it's got legs. And I think that if they were to button up a couple of the out-of-the-gate issues and deliver on that many characters, I mean, we're talking 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 territory. So, and I am one of those people that is a little bit above casual wrestling fan. So I know kind of what's going on a little bit. I love the subject matter, and to be perfectly honest, it's a lot better than the last 2K game.
So you give 7, mine's 8. That's our final score as of now. Not if they deliver on the promise of all the characters, you might go up to an 8. I might go up to a 9. The other thing I'm afraid of is they only deliver characters and not new arenas, because those arenas are as much part of the game. That's what really sells it on the style. You might not like the style, wait till you play in those arenas. It's so exciting to get outside of just them. Although I do want regular arenas too. I think there are some.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of them.
But this is something that that unfortunately happens in a lot of fighting games is they focus on a lot of characters and there's still only a limited number of arenas. If you want this game to continue to have legs, more arenas, I'd actually like to reach out to the developer because it is getting bashed. Unfortunately, look, if you were waiting for 2K20 WE 2K22, go ahead and wait. It's not ready, and if they tried to release it now, especially with the pandemic, it would be buggy as hell, worse than 20. It's not worth it. You wouldn't have any games. So why not? I'm all for, instead of getting a minor upgrade, is get a significant upgrade to the simulation series and have it alternate with Battlegrounds.
Well, I think the problem with the last couple games that I've experienced, it's not necessarily like wrestling story mode where you can actually do interludes and cutscenes and stuff like that, where there's a story outside of the ring like SmackDown used to have, and that's why I love that game so much. But a lot of those games, like in 2K, the last one I played was fantasy booking. So it was like, oh, I want to see a match versus that and that. It's like, well, I don't care about the matches so much. I'm more interested in the story and why are they having that fight. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense to me.
That is one slight downside if you like cinematic stories. They're in the career mode. It is told through comic book, which I didn't pay attention to the story.
No, I can't read that. It's like on the screen.
If you are looking for a career mode where it's really storage, maybe if they get to a Battlegrounds 2, that's something they can upgrade based on the development time that I know from researching the game series. I think it's a home run. I think if you want these characters to animate and you want a career mode with that could be for Battlegrounds 2 if it ever happens.
Yeah, there's room for it.
And the creator wrestler, which could be improved upon because you can't really get anyone's likeness. There's fun stuff in there.
Yeah. You can play around, but and they do have some pretty interesting costumes that will set you back a little bit, but they look cool.
And there are discounts for characters. But I'll tell you what, don't waste all your money buying characters because a lot of them will be unlocked in career mode.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm going to try the career mode and go a little bit further.
All right, now, Weekend Warriors, we have a long history of wrestling games that we like. I missed out on quite a few in Next Gen. I actually just ordered 2K 2K19 for $14 for my Xbox One because I heard that was the most improvements before it went to shit last year. And I might do a comparison. If you want to see a comparison between 2K19, the best in that series, versus Battlegrounds, I could do a separate video on like that. But how would this rank above your favorite wrestling games?
Well, I would say my favorite game of all time is SmackDown 2, and that was on the original PlayStation. It's better than 2K14, which was the last that I got for the PS3.
I heard that's a good one. Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, it's okay. The WrestleMania history one's part of it's pretty good, but it gets difficult after a certain point, and I just kind of gave up after a bit. This is right up there. I mean, it's probably the top 4.
Yeah. Legends of Wrestling, there's going to be a lot of comparisons to that because it's more arcadey. I went back and watched some reviews. I think we have rose-tinted goggles on for that. If you actually go back and look, it looked, it was good for its time. But even with the glitchiness, I think this is going to be smoother.
Yeah, it's a lot smoother than what's already been presented. Because I remember playing Legends of Wrestling, and that's up there as well. But yeah.
Well, I think with the $40, you're cutting out some of the presentation stuff to get the core gameplay, core mechanics, the system to reward consistent players with unlocks, and there's nothing that gets me invested with a game with free unlocks if I know I'm having a grind of a game. And yes, there is. If you were worried about depth, I think it is there.
Yeah, nobody wants to grind for nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's as long as there's light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, it's well worth it.
All right. So I would say my top tier wrestling games are always Nintendo 64. And I was like, do I like it? I like some of the presentation better in Nintendo 64 versions. And there's a little more grappling system. And the Royal Rumble was better because there's only 4 in here. But I just foresee, especially if you're inviting people to play, just think of the mentality of NBA Jam, NFL Blitz.
Or that hockey game that was kind of like that, where it was like there was obstacles and the ice would melt out in certain spots. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Or if arcades were still prevalent, they released this in arcades and you saw 4 sticks there, I think people would go nuts for it. Yeah. I think the graphics are adequate. They could be a little bit better, but they're still really good.
Yeah, it's better than like a cell phone app game. You know what I mean?
All right, so we're going to end it here. Again, I give it an 8 out of 10. There is room for improvement. The price point sells it. This is a great base game. Stop holding on to what you assume a game should be and just have some fun. And listen, Brian, you could probably play this with your nephew, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that you can easily catch on to. The moveset's not exceedingly hard. You don't have to.
But there is depth there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you don't have to put in like Street Fighter style combos to do anything. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot easier, to have a good time.
Our final recommendation for a Weekend Warrior review is, I say, based on highly recommend, because I think this is a game that it's not going to just be a one Weekend Warrior type of game. You're gonna play this again. It's a great party game. I hope the online improves a little bit, and I want all those fighters. 130 fighters in one game.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot, especially when you can get like the Von Erichs and stuff. I'm looking forward to getting some real legends.
Yeah. So you know what to do. Support this video. Support this series. We'll see you next time.